Hello, and welcome to the Reselling Report podcast for today, Wednesday, July 1st, 2020. I'm your host, Ann Eckhart, and every weekday I upload the Reselling Report to update you on the day's retail and e-commerce news, including the latest from eBay, Amazon, Etsy, and Poshmark. If you haven't done so already, I hope you'll subscribe. And now let's get on with today's show. Well, happy Wednesday, everyone, and welcome to July. It is the start of the third quarter. Can you believe it? That means in 3 months, it'll be the start of fourth quarter, and we will be in the holiday shopping season. Third quarter is, of course, back to school shopping season, which is huge. Not sure what it's going to look like this year. It does seem that most school districts and colleges and universities are going to be attempting in-person classes this fall. So I would assume there will be back to school clothing shopping, but it's just hard to say. I know a lot of clothing sellers do really well in the third quarter as people shop not only for back to school, but to replenish their fall wardrobes. But with more people working from home, it's just a strange time we're living in, and what is going to be selling here in third quarter in terms of back to school, I guess we'll just have to see how it plays out. Note that it is also a new eBay shipping supply coupon quarter. So you can, if you have an eBay store that is a basic or higher, you get a coupon to spend on eBay shipping supplies. Now, how to find your coupon, go to your seller hub and the manage your store. Under there is subscriber discounts, and then the shipping supplies box will have a code there. If you get a coupon and you copy it, sometimes it applies it directly. Sometimes you want to copy and paste it to make sure it goes in there. Just remember that you want to redeem the entire amount of your coupon, even if you go over a little bit, because what you don't use on the first round, you lose. So if you get a $50 credit and you only spend $40, you're going to lose out on that $10. So always go a little bit over to buy what you need. I'm not sure what I'm going to be getting this time. I have plenty of boxes, although do I really? Now that I say that, I'm like, well, I could always use more little boxes. They have some great small boxes. If you sell ornaments and small items, and then there's poly bags and stickers and tissue paper, all the things, and of course tape. So yeah, get over there and get your supplies. It'll be interesting to see what they have available, because when they release their bonus coupons in July as just an extra for those of us who had stores, a lot of things were out of stock. So as we go into this new quarter, not sure what'll be available. Now, no, you do have the full 3 months of third quarter to spend that coupon. So if you go on and they don't have what you want within the next day or two, you can wait and use it. Some people like to wait until the very last day to use it. I always use mine right away because I'm afraid I'll forget about it. But anyway, that coupon is now available, so you can go load up on some more free eBay shipping supplies. So let's get into today's reselling news. We're going to start with eBay. There is a new post over on the eBay community forums, and it is from Jordan Sweetnam, the Senior Vice President and General Manager of America's Mart, and it's titled Shoppers Save with Certified Refurbished. The post reads, "It's been a couple weeks since I shared an update on shopping trends, but I promised we'd keep these coming and wanted to pass along some interesting new data that shows a change in the consumer mindset. A recent survey is helping us better understand the resale market, from refurbished to pre-owned merchandise, not just on eBay, but how consumers are shopping everywhere and how they are prepared to spend in the future. What we found is surprising, and it reflects a shift in buyer behavior. 90% of respondents said they are now buying refurbished and pre-owned to save while getting exactly what they want, and 75% say they are doing so for both cost and convenience. This is good news for our marketplace, which has a dynamic selection of this inventory, and for our sellers, both individuals and brands who are looking for new distribution channels. People are looking for better value, and they also want to shop in a way that supports their own values. We're seeing that supporting the environment, making choices that result in less waste, is becoming more important, and eBay has always been a leader here. It's exciting to watch the spike in interest for like-new electronics, home appliances, and other items, and many of these purchased on eBay include warranties as we look to find new ways to meet consumer needs. And while some of the shift in spending reflects the current environment, much of this is driven by long-term changes in consumer preference that we expect to continue for the foreseeable future. I wanted to share these findings with you as a reminder that our customers are often looking for items in all different conditions and a variety of price points. The infographic below shares a closer look. So there is a graphic here, and it says that 2020's biggest shopping trend is buying refurbished. A recent report reveals nearly 90% of Americans are buying refurbished items. 60% are looking for great savings, 40% are trying to find a unique item, and 30% are buying a hard-to-find product. Shoppers want the best deal more than the latest model, saying lower price is the most important factor when buying refurbished items. When it comes to buying refurbished, shoppers come from all over. 35% are city dwellers, 25% are suburbanites, and 20% are rural dwellers. That's a tongue twister. Green on green, and more than 80% of shoppers want to buy items that are built to last and can be used by multiple owners, saving the environment from waste. So interesting. Now, of course, this is focusing on electronics and home goods, but secondhand clothing is seeing an uptick. It had been before the virus, the pandemic, but it has really seen an uptick now as people are looking to get the very best deal, make their money stretch. And now, of course, the focus on the environment. So for those of us who source and sell secondhand, good news for us. If you are an eBay seller in the UK, good news for you. There is a new promotion. It is a £1 cap final value fee for new listings, the maximum transaction limit of 100 per seller for the duration of the promotion. This is something you have to opt into. The promotion period will go from July 13th until July 19th. And the promotion is open to business sellers who are registered in the UK, have registered for eBay managed payments. That's what this is. They're trying to get you into managed payments. So you have to be registered in managed payments by July 5th, and then you can get this promotion starting the 13th. Very clever, eBay. So yeah, if you are a UK seller, you can look for this coming. I am still waiting to hear back from eBay if I am in managed payments yet. We shall see what happens. I have registered. I had to go through an extra process, which I talked about on the show yesterday, of having to send them a bank statement, even though I have had my bank account on file with eBay since 2005, and they regularly have put money there or taken money out, depending on different transactions. So not sure what was going on with that. I put in my routing number and account number, and it said it wasn't valid to send them a bank statement with the routing number and the account number. I sent them a bank statement without the routing number because routing numbers aren't on bank statements, and they took it. I talked about this yesterday, so if you have gotten the invite to pre-register for July, they're going to put you in July, and you can pre-register. I do encourage you to do it now because I've heard from other people who had to do the same thing and send in a bank statement. So it's going to be the extra step to get in there. In the UK, if you want to take advantage of this promotion to have a cap on your final value fees, you need to get in by July 5th for this promotion that starts on July 13th. Turning now to Etsy news, there's a really interesting thread over in the Etsy forums that I wanted to share with you, and it is from someone who's posted clearing someone's shopping cart. This seller wrote, I listed an item for sale in my store a few hours ago. It seems as though someone put it in their shopping cart and that it is now just sitting there. The problem is it is now going to put other people off from buying it because it says on my Etsy page, only one available, and it is in one person's cart. Is there any way of retrieving my item from this phantom cart, which does not appear to be buying? Any help would be appreciated. And then there are a number of responses. First one is, no way, sorry. Items can be put in carts. It means nothing until they buy it. Also, it will actually let people know if they want the item, they should hurry up and buy it because someone else wants it too. And of course, the counter to that is that it doesn't make other buyers feel like, oh, it's in somebody else's cart, I can't buy it. So there's a little back and forth about that. Some people say, no, people will understand that they have to get it. Other people are like, no, buyers are going to look at that and say, ooh, I can't get it in someone else's cart. So just an interesting thread I thought I would share with you over on Etsy. I was just looking at an Etsy shop. I was on Etsy's Facebook page, and they promote different shops, and I went over to someone's store, and all of the listings had multiple people that had the item in their cart. This is in 6 people's carts. This is in 20 people's carts. And it did throw me there for a minute. I thought, well, can you not get it? I mean, you still could, but it is odd that Etsy does that. Again, on their end, they're thinking it's going to encourage buyers to snatch it up. But on the other end, will it confuse buyers? And they think they don't have a chance at all. So interesting dynamic over there on Etsy. In Poshmark news, Poshmark has updated their blog with a new seller spotlight, and they are spotlighting 4 different sellers: My Walk-In Closet, Wild Vertigo Shop, Ray Bay, and Thriftology 101. So this is a feature that they've been doing as of late. It says this week we asked 4 sellers that are in different stages of their Poshmark journeys all about themselves and their businesses. Read about their productivity tips, what it's like to share a closet with a sister, and how one seller is making her own custom clothing pieces. So these are pretty extensive interviews that they do with these sellers. Now, if you're listening here on YouTube, then the link to this will be in the show notes below. So you can go and check that out if you want to read about these 4 Poshmark sellers. Also, I wanted to talk about a new thread over on the Poshmark Reddit forum, which is my favorite place to go for the Poshmark gossip. There's a new thread that's pretty active, and it says, give up or just donate items. At one point, does everyone give up on an item and just donate it? I don't think I've seen this posted on the sub, so I'm curious. There are a few things I feel like I could just be done with, but the seller in me sometimes wants to keep holding on to in the hopes that it may sell. And like I said, there are quite a few responses here. It's pretty active. Someone says, as long as it's stored away and you're not hurting for space, I say keep it forever until it sells. I have had stuff sit for over a year, and one day I just decided to delete and relist, and bam, it sells at full price. The right buyer's out there. You just have to be patient. Someone else says, I agree. I have plenty of space, so I don't mind holding onto things for a while. Just last week, I sold an item I've had for 2 years. And another poster says, I think as long as your items are in good condition, it would be worth it to take them to a consignment store before donating them so you could at least recoup some of your money. And one more I'll share with you. It says, if no one wants it after a year, I consider it earns its keep better as part of a Goodwill donation, which will earn me a 20% off coupon on my next purchase. So just an interesting discussion here about how long to keep items on Poshmark. I do have a consignment store that I can take things to. So when it comes to eBay, I'm pretty ruthless unless it's something I just kind of feel is really special and I want to keep in my store. Especially with clothing, I'll kind of cut it loose early. Now, my consignment store only takes items that are less than 2 years old. So with clothing, I need to be a little more particular on what they will take. And if I do have something that I feel isn't moving on eBay and it's within 2 years, to get it there before that 2 years is up. But anyway, an interesting thread here over on the Poshmark Reddit forum. And finally, today, I want to talk a little bit of general retail news. Now, earlier episodes of the show, we've talked about JCPenney is closing down a lot of stores if they filed for bankruptcy protection. And we talked about how Amazon was showing some interest in purchasing the JCPenney's so that they could have access to the closed stores and distribution centers to use for themselves. Well, it appears there is another company in play. According to a post on CNBC.com, here's why the biggest U.S. mall owner might want to buy JCPenney. Simon Property Group might want to own bankrupt JCPenney in order to be able to redevelop some of its best real estate and make it even better, according to one analyst. We believe Simon wants to control the JCPenney boxes and land so they can ultimately redevelop many of these in order to densify and introduce mixed-use elements, Compass Point real estate analyst Floris Van Dijkum said. A redevelopment that will require zoning approvals, capital, and time could unlock significantly greater value while boosting traffic for the retail. Simon is considering teaming up with Brookfield Properties and Barney's New York parent company, Authentic Brands Group, to make a bid for JCPenney, a person familiar with the talks told CNBC. The person requested anonymity because the discussions are private and remain ongoing. Simon, the biggest mall owner in the country, has a Penny store in about 50% of its U.S. malls. It had 63 Penny department stores as of the end of the first quarter. The land value for Penny's owned stores, not the leased locations, is estimated to be worth more than $1 billion. Hit by the coronavirus pandemic and suffering from an overhang of debt, Penny's filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in May. At the time, it had roughly 850 locations, but it has already started whittling down its portfolio of stores. Still, Penny's will be left with hundreds of stores even after the closures and will remain one of Simon's largest anchor tenants, only behind the department store chain Macy's. So just a really interesting article about this bid for JCPenney, which you would think would be, whatever, it's Penny's. It was like Sears, again, closing stores and these massive mall vacancies that it's leaving. But this company that works with Simon, they also bought out teen retail apparel Aeropostale and Forever 21 in an effort to revamp those stores and bring more value to their malls. So always like to keep an eye on retail, what's going on at your local stores and malls, because it will affect what you are able to source specifically for clothing. If brands and stores are not available in your area, it's less likely you're going to find those brands of clothing in your area to source for resale. So I know Penny's and Aeropostale and Forever 21 aren't exactly hot reselling clothing brands, but it just points to the overall climate with retail right now here in America. And that's a wrap on today's show. If you liked it, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment. Check out the show notes below the video to links to the articles I referenced. And if you want to learn how to make money on eBay and YouTube the way I do, check out my books, which are in my Amazon store. That's the first link below the video. Thank you so much for listening. I will talk to you again tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye.